afternoon and welcome back to Wavra Farms. So the garden is kind of messy to say the least. I was gone for about a week. I was at a convention for our nursery and the boys put a sprinkler out here and watered, and so now I do have weeds growing out here that I need to get under control. Obviously, I've not taken the time yet to spread bark chips. That just wasn't in the budget quite yet. We've got some great things happening out here. Some things that aren't very pretty. In fact, Andrew doesn't think I should even show you, but since this is going to be a teaching garden, I thought let's take a look and talk about a few things. First off, the peas are doing fantastic. In fact, they are starting to flower. We are at October 19th, and the problem this year with my fall garden is it's been unseasonably warm. We've had lots of days here in Salem, Oregon in the last week that have been up into the high 80s. We're supposed to start cooling down, so I'll be curious to see kind of what happens with the garden. So peas are doing well. The peas will hold, and they like it cool, so that will be fine. The beans, I don't know if we'll see much activity. I do have a butterfly bush popping through here. But these are Kentucky Wonder pole beans. It's probably a little bit too shaded, but like I said, I wanted to try it out in the fall so I can plan ahead for spring and summer. I do have some flowers starting to form at the top for our beans. So we're not expected to freeze. It's just going to be cooler. And I'm thinking that maybe with them being pole beans, they're going to get a little more air movement. And I shouldn't have mildew just because they are going to be off the ground. My little pea crop here didn't do a whole lot. Not sure if that was. We've got a couple rogue chickens that could have eaten my seeds. But not sure quite what happened with that. So let's talk about some of my disasters. First off, I put cabbage in this bed and I'd been spraying it with Captain Jack's. And I talked to some representatives at convention and said, I am really struggling with bugs on my broccoli, my cauliflower, my cabbage. I have never grown these before. My husband usually does them way out in a field somewhere, and they're commercially grown. So I was trying to do these pesticide-free with organics, and it wasn't working very well. So I do have one nice big head of cabbage, but if you look down in here, and Andrew can zoom in, because it's been so unseasonably warm, I ended up with aphids. And that's what you see all these little purple things are. And in fact, as I dig down in here, you're going to see all the aphids. So the cabbage, this head will be a nice head to harvest. I'll peel a bunch of the outside leaves off, and this one should be okay. This one here, same thing. I think I might have caught them. This one isn't going to be obviously harvestable. But then again, my strawberries on the other side look fantastic. So those look really well. The lettuce is doing great. It doesn't look like it, but we've been eating a lot of lettuce. I have been finding some slugs down in my soil, but like I said, it's this time of year, and so those easily wash off the lettuce. As we come back here to the cauliflower, actually this is more cabbage. This is going to be my purple cabbage. It's absolutely stunning. I love the look of this pot. I've got some gorgeous kale here in the middle. We've been able to harvest some of that. And then this here, I haven't decided if it's going to be a success or a failure, but it's kind of leaning one way. I've never personally grown the broccoli or the cauliflower. In fact, I have a chicken running rogue right there as I get closer. So I ended up with some bugs. I've treated, but yet again, you know, I still have some bugs in here. So this is my broccoli. The other thing that I did wrong that I didn't realize was I was watering it too much when I first started. And broccoli is one of those crops that you want to plant it, you want to water it, you want to stress it, just so it doesn't get so bulky. I feel like I've got a lot of foliage here, but I'm not seeing any heads yet. So I'm hoping that will happen. Now, my cauliflower surprised me. And I ended up with some decent cauliflower. Now these ones here, remember, this is a learning thing, ended up with too many bugs. So this is all bug damage and heat damage. Again, like I said, we've been in the 90s. In fact, it was like 92 not very long ago. In fact, just like a week ago. I did end up with a really nice head here, so we'll harvest that. So we do have some great successes. Over here, looking at the carrots. So I was really excited to see that we do have some carrots, and these are smaller carrots. They're supposed to look like this. And this variety, I looked it up the other day, is a partisan carrot. In fact, I'm probably saying it wrong. I can put it on the screen if Andrew can zoom in and focus. So that you can see it. Anyways, they formed little carrots about the size of radishes. So these were kind of fun. In fact, I have quite a few in here. Super easy. So, you know, we're trying to live out of the garden and not have to visit the grocery store very much. So we have been eating lots of salads, lots of veggies. So these will be fun to add. And then, in fact, oops, I pulled one that's a little small. You can harvest these pretty much at whatever size, but you want them to be about the size of a radish when you harvest them. So great little carrots. So I was on, I don't know, Pinterest or something the other day, and maybe most of you knew this. I did not. After I harvest the carrots, I can save the stems of the carrots and actually make a pesto. I make a pesto sauce out of them. So this time of year, you know, basil is pretty much sparse. And so through the winter, as long as I have greens, I can chop the greens off. I can put them in a food processor with a little bit of olive oil, some pine nuts, a little bit of garlic, and I have a pesto sauce for pasta. So that will be fun to try out. So look that up on Pinterest. It is Carrot Top Pesto is basically what it's called. So I thought that would be kind of fun to try. The beets are doing really well, and they are sizing up and really not much of an issue. I was looking to see if I've got one of some size to pull. They are still a little bit small. Again, we planted this garden, I believe, the end of, I'm going to have to look, July. I believe the end of July. End of August. End of August. We planted this garden. Yeah, Andrew says end of August. By the time it was too hot in July, so I waited till August. So really, we've got quite a bit going on for just a short-term garden growing season. Couple more things. I still have tomatoes. This is that one plant that I found on the ground inside the greenhouse. It is a trailing cascading one, but I thought, you know, how fun to have a late season crop of cherry tomatoes for all of our veggies. Now this plot here is kind of a disaster. The produce in it has been phenomenal. And these are a cucumber. And I should know the name of this cucumber. We have been eating this quite a bit. This is a new one that is, oh, right here's my tag. That will be new for us for next year. And this is a Persian thumb little cucumber. And they are tiny. I went through and I picked a bunch last night. So they are smaller cucumbers. They have a nice smooth skin. You can see I've got some bigger ones in here. I didn't get picked right away. But they have a nice smooth skin, kind of like your English cucumbers. Really nice flavor to them. Here's a larger one. But usually you want to pick them. Here's a perfect size. When they're about this size. This size we have decided is a really nice size cucumber. As you can see, there's no, I call them pokey things, but you know, no spines. No spines on the cucumber. Super nice, easy. This one here, again, was planted at the end of August, and we still have cucumbers. So that's kind of where we are with that. Stick those in my sweatshirt. My celery is coming along. Some of the stems are starting to thicken up, and they're starting to show some color. We'll have to do a recap back. Not quite enough color, but this is going to be that white variety that I showed you with the stripes on it that was really pretty. I've got some lettuce, of course, that's going to seed. We'll pull that off, give that to the chickens. Again, some of our dandelion root. It's starting to bolt here because we've had so much heat. So that's kind of what's happening with that. A couple more things. Our oak leaf lettuce has been doing well. As you can see, we're just kind of picking the centers out to harvest. We've actually taken some whole heads out. These are radicchios. Those are forming some nice heads. I did pull the pak choi that was spent, and I need to plant some garlic. So I'm hoping in the next day I have time to get the garlic planted. And then this here is our Brussels sprouts. So kind of excited to see what's going to happen with these. I don't really see much forming yet. Possibly some little ones right there, but they're just kind of starting to form up. So that will kind of be fun to see what happens. Again, I haven't done any other planting. I did some bulb planting just for myself, but the garden's just kind of sat. I'll continue to water, we'll continue to harvest, but this will probably be the last update for a little while until I get a few other things done. Maybe when I plant garlic in the next couple days, we'll talk about the garlic. Andrew's pointing at this flower bed with my red romaine lettuce. This has been one of our favorites, and this is a radicchio as well. So we've had a great crop for fall. Again, like I said, it's been unseasonably warm, but until you give something a try, you don't know how it's all going to work. This way, I feel like we'll be better prepared for next spring and summer because we'll have a better plan. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.